We're going to have an exciting class today, covering a lot of the Figma, not just the fundamentals, but a lot of the intermediate topics as well. So basically how we're going to start a project from the ground up. And I'll show you some samples from previous students as well, which coincides with the group project that's been assigned to you already. Hope you guys are happy with your groups. For those of you that have to pair up, if not, you have to talk to me, right? And we'll talk about it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna hide my camera here and share my screen. All right, so first thing is the YouTube channel is updated. So if you click on that, all the classes are up to date. I did make sure I uploaded those 2 sessions from last time. So make sure you follow that up right here. So week 11, this is week number 12, class number 11. We got class 12, 13, 14, okay? As I mentioned earlier, we have the last class reserved for your group presentations, okay? It shouldn't take longer than the time allotted for a class, since it's going to be 3 per group. Some of you are in 2s or 3s, and we're going to save that last class to do the presentations for the group. And that's going to be week number 15, okay? The very end. So having said that, let's go back to the Blackboard. So we do have, if you go to the interaction design principles, like the second last module, there's one more. This is like the end of this module. It says class 11 and 12. Okay, so you're gonna have we have a starter kit file in Figma today. I'm gonna do that as an exercise with all of us. So I am gonna ask you to download this file here. As a matter of fact, you're gonna download pretty much all of these. I left an XD file just for I had that from last semester, because don't forget, we transitioned to Figma from XD, but I did have some XD files for those of you that want to also work with XD and, keep Figma as well, the same type of expectations. This is just a basic web prototype draft. Okay, we're not going to bother with that today. I'm going to totally focus on Figma, but I do want you to download this file here. So just click on it and we're going to download. We'll go to the desktop for now. I also have some mobile apps prototyping kit. Okay, I'm going to share that with you as well. It's a community kit that I grabbed from online. And I have a coffee shop mobile app. So just an example of how a mobile app goes into the development phase and how you go about executing all the main steps that are involved to get the app accomplished. So I'm going to go ahead and save all those 3 files. Okay. Yes. Sorry, say it again.
So in that, we need to do qualitative research
Mhm.
and also the problem solution,
That's
the
right.
card sorting.
Yeah.
Do everything, right?
Yeah, that's why there's 3 people in a group, or 2 or 3, right? So one of you will be in charge with that. Like all of you will work together on these topics. I think minimum would be probably like 8 or to 10 minimum. Okay. And then you can go as much as you want. Sorry? How many features? You can put as many as you want. Sure. When you say features, what exactly are you alluding to? Right. Okay, perfect. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at that right now here. I have it on my. So please keep in mind, this is the this is just an example, just like the space game that you guys did. I was happy to see most of you did a good job on that with XD, the interactive space, interactive game that you did. A lot of you did space. You don't have to do space. You can do something else. Just like same as this one, you don't have to do the truck. You can do something else as well. This is just an example of you just a theme that you can go with. But a lot of the students that I gave this project to chose a different theme. So please go ahead and pick something else if you like, right? The only difference also is we're going to be using Figma, okay? Now, if you let's say you don't have access to Figma, you have a problem with the software, you only have XD access, I can make special exceptions, okay, for some of you. But I'm really pushing Figma for this one, okay? However, in the past, most of the students did this in XD, okay? So if that's your only option available, I mean, I can accept it, honestly, because it was a tool that we used to use with XD. I'm not going to totally discount it just because, they dropped the software. But my goal is to push you guys to the latest trend that's happening, which is Figma is the program. Okay, so Figma is what we're pushing for. So I think we have to still change some of these things. I mean, you know what? I guess the edited version didn't upload. I gotta still upload the last. I did edit this, so I'm gonna have to upload the last version. Okay. So yes, the research. You will have to understand your client's business, doing market research, the pain points, the positive and the negative of the app, what exactly it's going to do, the positioning, what type of design is suitable for them. This could be something very simple. You don't have to make it too extensive, but a good page of that would be nice. You don't have to do a survey, no. But right. Some students gave me user personas too. That was part of the research. Right? Exactly, right? And then the sitemap, okay? Create a visual sitemap that displays the hierarchy of the pages required based on what currently exists. I'm going to give you an example of a student project to show you what's being delivered for this. The only difference is in XD. You're going to do it in Figma, okay? And then the wireframe, of course, okay? The wireframes are the actual concept of how the design will look like before you get into the colors, the graphics, the textures, the images, just a simple wireframe, right? So I want to see that as well. And then finally, the final prototype, okay? It'll be an interactive, fully rendered design prototype for the app. That's the fourth thing. So there's four different things I'm gonna be looking for, okay? Right? Now, how many pages did you say for the app? I mean, I don't want to put a minimum of 8 pages, but yeah, I mean, something like that. I can make a list of things here to maybe add more information so you're more informed with the details. So let me just do that right now so we kind of know what's going on here, okay? It depends what kind of app you're making. If you're making most apps should have a sign up page, login, sign up as you go in the beginning. Follow the main concept of an app itself, okay? The main type of the the concept and everything that's there. So we're gonna type in minimum of 8 screens, pages.
Okay.
Frames. Okay.
Jump sketches we need to.
That's part of your wireframing
Yeah.
process. So if sketches is part of your wireframing, I will accept that as well. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Menu, mobile version. Yeah, so these are just some of the things that you gotta include in there just as a reference point for the app, okay? Where is this where's my bullet list here? I'll do it this way. All right. But then you have your actual PDF, which I will have to update some of the details in there, but that's your main thing. I'm going to show you some samples today. Like I said, we are going to create an app today too in Figma from the bottom up. I'm going to create like a loading screen. I'm going to create like a menu. I'm going to teach you some interactive behavior states for you to do as well, because it's different than XD. Okay. I know we covered that in the other program as well. Now we left off with the website app, the website design that we did for the portfolio. And today we're going to do like an app, a mobile app version size. Okay. We're not going to do any more website portfolio stuff. All right. So this is pretty much up to date. This is due in 3 weeks. Okay. So I know we're getting close to the finish line here, but August the 14th, that's when you present it with your partners in your group. Okay. So 3 weeks. And when is your graduation thing? I think it's the same week, right? The Monday or the Friday the week before, right? Okay. So this is your last. So what are you going to do in your last week for the other classes? There's no classes? So it's your last week. That's why. I like to go right to the end. I don't want to short you 1 week or whatever. So it's out of 30 points. So keep that in mind. Okay. And I'll do 3 attempts. I should make that 2 because when you get 3, I get all kinds of problems. So I'm going to do 2 attempts for now, but doesn't let me. Okay. Whatever. It's fine. All right. So since we're talking about it and it's fresh, let me show you some of my previous groups, what they did with this particular app. And I'll be honest with you, you should do better because you learn more than they did. They handed this in week 8, week 9, right? Because that's the first thing I gave them. And then I had to do a portfolio for me. And they're like, oh no, another portfolio, right? So this time I said, scratch the portfolio. Let me teach you some more stuff about Figma and XD. And I did make you do an interactive project on your own. I did make you do the other important things. And the last thing to do is the group project. I think it makes more sense. What do you guys think? Is it a better flow? Or would you have rather do the group project first? Because that would have been stressful too at the beginning. The group project's always nicer at the end. Okay. So by experience and by the way I judged how it went, this is a lot better setup going forward. All right. We'll talk about the groups after individually. If you guys have any points you want to make about that. Make sure I get the finished ones here. All right, here's design moves. I know I showed you this one before now that I'm looking at it. You could do a recorded video how it works. Please don't worry about the video. You're gonna present it as is. This is your research and your I guess the wireframes are in here as well. Okay, so they talked about the team members. Okay, what each person did. For this one, I had a class of 30 students, so I think 4 of them ganged up on this one. So I was made an exception because it was their first thing they had to do. So one person did sitemap and research. David did research. Ciara did low fidelity and high fidelity wireframe, and Hakeem did the wireframe and the prototyping. So all their split their responsibilities evenly. Okay, here's the market research and the objective. Okay, to understand the landscape of which design moves will operate and to justify the design decisions through market research has been conducted. This research encompasses several key areas. Okay, so competitive analysis, target audience analysis, industry trends, business model analysis, regulatory and legal considerations. Okay, and here's the findings. So you can kind of break it up any way you wish. Demographics, of course, age, education. Okay, and demographics of designers and expectations. Okay, and demographics breakdown of app users. Benefits of using design moves. Now, this is pretty generous. You don't have to go to this great length, okay? You can kind of do a shorter version, but I want you to put something together so I can read it and understand it of what exactly is that you were making. Here's a sitemap, okay? The sitemap is what's going to help you conduct this project or execute it properly, all right? You always have the home page screen and all the other pages and the sub pages and so on and so forth. There's a low fidelity wireframe, okay? And there's a high fidelity wireframe. I mean, honestly, they did a pretty nice job with this. I like how it's presented all in one PDF. And then, of course, I have the files and stuff to work with, right? But I really like how they did it. Okay. And finally, the logo. It's a mobile group app, 2024. So this was like earlier this year, like this winter. Okay. They finished at the beginning of the year. That's when the course ended. Okay. So this is the XD file. Okay. This is the high fidelity wireframe. So they gave me like the graphics, the illustrations, products. Oh, sorry, that's just the setup, how they have it done. Just a different PDF version they gave me. This is the low fidelity wireframe. So this is like just screen captures or uh, separate elements from the project. And this is the file. So you're going to give me all this stuff in one folder, zip it and hand it in and put your group number, the members of your group name. So I know who's in your group. Okay. I should know because I have a list, but just to make sure we double check that. And you all hand it in. You all hand in the same project. So if there's 3 of you in a group, all 3 of you hand in the same thing. Do you get it? Because I have to give you a mark, basically, right? Usually your mark should be the same as your group members as well. Okay, so this is the final prototype. As you can see, there's maybe 20 different pages, okay? Something like that. Starts off with the home page. Right. So we're gonna push to start. Right. So it's like a design community app. All right. So find your designer. You can do a little search thing here. Your search thing there. You have a little drop down menu. This is for a location. These little menus are popular. I'll show you how to make one in Figma. So you can do like a little hamburger menu. You can collapse it and open it and then select an option, and that takes you to that page. Okay. It's pretty simple to do. Okay. As long as you follow the steps, you can click on different parts. Okay. And that takes you to that particular screen. I think they all go to the same screen, if you ask me, right? So no matter which one you press, right, it goes to that one there. So again, the whole point is you to create a product. Think of me as your client. And I'm looking for something that you're creating, and I'm going to see what it's going to look like. And then once it's approved, we go to production. We actually make the app from the developers. You can't make every little thing work, okay? It's a prototype. Just like you see the cars on the roads, the concepts only work in certain ways. And then when they make the real product, they put all the little things to work, okay? But your job is to make as much sense of it as possible. So make as many things work as you can see fit. Okay, so you have graphic. So all these should work, of course. If you click on this one here, it goes to the sign up page again. Once you sign up, it takes you to the sign up screen. Yeah, they put my name here. These are all the people in the class. So you click on the person you want to hire. It goes to their description, gives you all the different things. Oh, I think it has a little, there we go. Oh, it's not working. Anyways, it's like a carousel. It's supposed to be like scrolling. Okay, like that. Okay, so then you press X, it goes back. So you can see some of the work and some of the other things. Illustration, advertising, different parts of the app. Okay. Um, the menu on the bottom is always important. If you have a menu on the bottom, make sure all the buttons work. Okay. Don't just have one work and the other 3 don't. You got to make sure everything works. So if I click on tasks, it should go to tasks. No current tasks. There's completed and scheduled. Okay. There's 2 different things. There's even like a little wish thing. Okay. My taskers. Okay. There's another button there, I guess. And there's the profile page. And that has things like account, security, blah, 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 right? right? So this is how this app was generated and made as an example. This was their first project. So because you guys, it's your last project and there's more being a group, this is what I'm looking for when it comes to like the minimal of what you have to deliver. Okay. Honestly, this should be no hard, really easy for you to execute, especially with there's three people involved. One person does this, one person does that, the other person does that. Should be a slam dunk, right? Just to show you another good example here, this is a banking app, okay? There's the user persona. Some people did decide to do the user personas. That's fine. It's part of the research. Who is this product intended for, right? This is the actual sitemap. The sitemap was generated in Illustrator. If you guys use Illustrator and Photoshop, I'm okay with that, just to deliver the other components, right? Then you have the actual, the research a little bit. Notice how this research is conducted and delivered differently than the other one, okay? And then you have the mobile prototype. You have the skeleton version. So you can see here how you have the wireframe part. This was the wireframe. Today I'm going to show you some of the wireframes that I have given to you for Figma, okay? So what you see is the wireframe, and then from this they build the high fidelity uh, app as well. Okay, so if I open that one, oh, this is the grayscale. Two different ones. Okay, there's the grayscale. So the wireframe, then they did a grayscale version. I mean, honestly, you can just do one or the other. You don't have to do two different variations of a wireframe and a grayscale, but it helped them do this. And this is why they did it. So this became an actual, help them deliver the color version. Okay, so it's all grayscale, wireframe, grayscale version. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to show you the high fidelity rendered full version. Okay. And there it is right there. Okay. So again, about 20 pages. That's an average what I get from students when it comes to this project. 20 different artboards. Honestly, if you design like 3 or 4 different ones, you're just duplicating and changing it. Okay. It's the concept and design that goes a long way. So if I press the play button here, okay, there's the Zoli Financial, okay, username, password, login, sign up, all that stuff. All the buttons work. You go through the process. There's the menu, okay. The menu can be any way you want to make it. Even this works fine, right? E-transfer money. You have transactions, transfer, deposit. You have the check thing when you take pictures. So it looks like a real app. Like you can like look at a real app on your phone, your banking app, and simulate it if that's what you want to do, right? It's amazing because the skills that you have right now with learning all these tools and programs, and that you got to thank Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. They're all fundamentally kind of uh, good to help you understand how design works. So when you use programs like Figma and XD, it's like really simple, right? It doesn't take you much design effort to do these things. Tap to deposit, right? Oh yeah, there's a little, you can do a little like a carousel kind of thing menu where it goes like this. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do these little interactive things today in Figma, okay? And how to do some of these buttons and rollovers and triggers and stuff. Okay. Right? So was that enough to show you those two examples, right? I have some other ones in the previous years I can dig up, but those were, I gotta kind of look through my hard drives. Let me see if I can pull up one more. What's this one here? I'm not a big fan of this. It works, but it's just different. They were trying to be different with their sitemap delivery. But if it works for you, that's fine, right? I mean, no problem with it. This is the low fidelity wireframe again, as you can see here, right? And that was like done in Illustrator, right? Then you have the research, right? What the research is. This is a sneaker app, okay, for shoes. So they chose to do like a nice sole sneaker. There's not that many pages for it, but this is, again, that was the delivery that they did. Okay, so this is how the app works. Sign in, sign up. Okay. Men and women, different sneakers, different brands. You got Nike, Adidas, New Balance. You shop, you go to the sneaker, right? Add to cart. You can like the sneaker, or you go back to the home page. You go to your liked sections of the sneakers that you liked. You can add or subtract different quantities you want to purchase. Continue, right? A little bit of a shopping cart experience on the app, just like you would see on some of these other ones, right? You have the shopping cart here, right? Payment methods, track your order with the maps. Like, this obviously doesn't work like a real map, but you could make this map interactive. Like, you could move it around and stuff like that if you like. I can show you some of the other simple things, right? And back to home. So it's a well approached design for this. I think it worked really well. There was two people doing this project, okay? Her and this other girl that were doing it together, and they did a nice job, right? So it's another example of another app that was done. This was like a sneaker app, right? Okay, so we got a good taste of this delivery, right? I read it to you, I outlined it, I showed you samples of other students. And again, let me point out, this was already done back in week 10 or week 9 of their semester, because the last project for them was the portfolio, like you guys are doing it. But like I said, I'm not doing the portfolio again. Like, why would you do it 4 portfolios? It will help you though. I'm not gonna take away from it. I think it's a good idea if you have time, if you want to do a prototype or your portfolio. Think about it. This prototyping thing is good for everything, your portfolio, any project. But I think it's better to show other products in your portfolio than show your portfolio as a product. Get it? Because your portfolio is going to be delivered on a website. You're not going to show your portfolio on an app, okay, unless you make an actual app. So it's more well suited for what you're doing now. For this, it's much better if you invest the time to make something to show off. Say, look what I did. I made an app to show people that you want to get a job in UX UI design. It's a lot better than just showing a portfolio of a portfolio, right? You could, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, yeah, you can design it like that. You mean resume as in like a
You can see all the, what we have, like
right?
our information, same like website.
Yeah.
In the form of this.
It could work, but you have to share the link and they have to open it in a browser. So for that, I like XD better than Figma. Figma I like better as a prototyping tool for apps. For portfolio thing, since we moved to Figma, it was better to use it for other purposes. It's just the way the links work, right? All right. So now that we got a good taste of those examples, let's go ahead and continue with our lesson today. Where we finished last week was the desktop web. That's due today, by the way. Okay, the UI kit for the desktop website. I want to just see like the landing page, what exactly you want to design in your portfolio. Don't worry about it if it doesn't look the same or looks a little different. It's just at least you're going through the phase of the design process. And also the UI kit that goes with it, like the buttons, all the stuff that you find useful for yourself. So let me go ahead and open that right now, and then we'll continue with that one. Speaking of portfolios, I opened up some other portfolio examples to kind of look through. This is from the design community in Figma. There's another portfolio page, right? Make this full screen, okay? Home, about, lab. And just a splash page, right? Here's the wireframes. There's the cover. Okay. So I like the fact that the pages have a good way to do a breakdown or distinguish between each sections in your portfolio. So that's a good way that Figma has available. Here's another one over here. Just another example of a. Okay, so they did the whole column grid the way we have it set up. There's your menu, there's the person, there's the thing. So just a simple design, right? Of course, they didn't really go too much longer. This is the cover. And this is the web page. Actually, it's longer. This is the actual page. That's the cover. This is the web page. So if I zoom in, you can see all the different things you see on the page. Testimonials, recent work, get in touch. Okay. A lot of these one-pagers portfolio sections work well. When I did the portfolio class with my students, I even had them do one-page scrollable website. So if you click on the link, it's called parallax scrolling. You know what I'm talking about? It scrolls to the section. If you click, it scrolls back. So you can do what's called a multi-scroll or an anchor scroll on your page. You can do that on your HTML as well. Okay. But we did it in XD. So that was another way to interact with your website. Okay. Some people prefer to go to other pages. So do like 4 pages, right? And then from there you have a portfolio. But we did the one page thing work just as well. All right. So let's go ahead and open those files that I asked you to get earlier. So we're going to go ahead and let me just kind of see where we left off with that one here. This is what we did last week, okay, where we left off. So we did the buttons and the menus, and we did do some interactive stuff as well. So you have the hover states, and the hover states are more useful for the websites, whereas the tap and the trigger states are good for navigation, okay? So just keep that in mind when you do this. What I didn't show you is how to do the actual scrolling, horizontal scrolling. You can do vertical or horizontal scrolling. I'm going to cover that today, but in an exercise form, just to show you what I'm talking about. I'll use this, just a simple little example here that I put together for you. I'm going to do a preview. Okay. Page. I'll just open it because I made a separate one. I'll open it this way. Right? So let's say this is one of your portfolio pages. What you can do is slide it over, right? You can just drag and move this over back and forth when you use your finger, your mouse, or whatever. So this is a little tricky because you have to create like an artboard, I should say a frame in a frame, and you have to clip it, and you have to make sure it's like a mask, and you can enable it to do a horizontal scrolling. And then you can do a click. When you click, you can open the picture or you can navigate to the page. You can do lots of those things too. So I'll show you how to do that, okay? You understand how to do that on the mobile side. And once you do it there, you can implement it on anything you want. You might do another desktop prototype in Figma. You might do one in XD. You can do whether it's a mobile app or a website, you can control these trigger interactive points either way. All right, so let me just put this one away to kind of recap where we left off. And what I want you to do next is open up this other file. Did you download the files that I asked you to? There's one of a coffee shop, a mobile app prototype, and I gave you a UI kit starter. I gave you lots of presents this evening. Okay. So if you double click on the UI kit starting kit and you click on your drafts and click import, it'll open up that exact file. This is a good review. Okay. I know we've covered Figma for a few weeks now, but I wanted to make sure I go over some of the important details of interactive properties. So this is something that we're going to cover with this file. So if you double click on this file right here, when you open it, do it right now, please. You should open up this working file here. This has like a basic UI kit of a menu. It's got some hover states. It's got some sliders, and it has some switches. And this is all done in Figma, okay? So let's go ahead and explore this. And then I want to make sure you're able to do this on your own. So when you work with your group members, you can contribute if that's your role or not. You all have the knowledge to do this, okay? So let's go ahead and this is a fun little exercise to work on. Let's go ahead and open this up. So this is, let me just repeat it again. This is in your, if you go to Blackboard, right? Go to today's lesson, which is the interaction design principles, class 11 and 12, okay? These are the files. Basically, go to the bottom of the page of this class, and you can download this here. The one I'm addressing right now is called the UI Kit Starter, okay? There's the mobile app prototyping, and there's the coffee shop. These are the three files I want you to get, okay? Don't worry about the other ones because they're just from last semester. So honestly, I should just delete them, but I left them there for you, just for just keep them just in case. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek of how this works. It's all done in one frame. If I press the play button, well, first we have the rollover set up, okay? Simple rollovers. Then we have the sliders, okay? You can slide them this way. Notice if I go halfway and I stop, it goes back to the left. But if I go past the halfway point, it goes to the right. So that's how you can control how these sliders work. There's more detailed control of sliders. You can do quarter, half, 3/4 full, but it's a lot more interaction integration. Honestly, if you have to do that, you can, but I think this is a nice and simple way to show you how to do slidings. And the sliders are good because you can kind of control any ones you like. These are switches. You can just click any random switches on and off to control how that works, along with rollovers. So sliders, switches, and hover states. Those are the most important fundamental interactive behavior states you should learn how to do, not just in XD, but in Figma as well. From that, we can build on the other things like a drop-down menu for a mobile app, navigation, things like that. Then we go to the sliding, the image carousel stuff. You can actually have an interactive gallery, right? So that comes after. First, I want to make sure everybody understands this. Okay? So open it up, please, and let me see how you. So go ahead. Oh, just so okay. So the way I'm playing this is make sure you do this also. This is also looks like my MacBook Pro. You see, it's made for the MacBook Pro. So I'm gonna close it. So here's what I want you to do. Ready? When you open the file, go over here, right, and click on Present. You can do preview or I think present. It gives you a bigger screen and it gives you an option to interact with it, right? Now, right? Very good. Okay, so this is, I gave you the how-to, but not just that, I'll teach you how to do this from the ground up, right? Open it up. Okay. That's it, right? Again. Do rollovers, right? So when you roll over, right, color changes, try the sliders, try the switches, the buttons here. Okay.
For today's.
Sorry,
This one, I want to submit to it.
for which one? Let's see. Right. Where's the website?
Layer, that's it's an interactive e-market, so I'm make a make the e-market. So,
Okay,
drop downs and the.
that's fine. Okay. As long as that's for your website, then that's fine. If it's for this, then.
And then that one, if you discuss.
Okay.
I'm for do so.
Yeah, okay. All right, so. What I want to do now is show you how to make this from scratch, okay? This way you do it like second nature, okay? Because I know it's tricky when you do this for the first time and we covered it here and there. Let's go ahead and cover this before we go to the next step. So this is a reference guide. This is your sections here. This is how I organize my whole thing. I made a rollover button, I made a switch button and a slider, okay? And the way I made these work is very simple. Of course, I did the prototype thing, right? And the prototype is how we made these work. The only difference is this one was on drag. This one was on click. And this one is also on click. Okay. But sorry, this was hover. So hover, click, and drag. 3 different interactive states. I really want to emphasize these. I don't want to just talk and just wind it over. I really want to make sure you know how to do this. So that's why I wanted to solely focus on this particular file. So do me a favor, make a new document right now. So basically go to the over here where it says the little plus button. You can also go to File, New Window, or New Tab. Just open up a new tab, okay? And you're going to create a new design file. So click on New Design File, and you should get a nice blank screen in front of you, right? Perfect. So first thing we're going to do is design a section. A section is going to be where we're going to create our interactive components, and then we're going to transfer those into like a page, like an artboard or a frame. So let's go ahead and go to our section, okay, and just draw a nice little section here on the left-hand side. To be honest with you, it's not really necessary, but I like to use all the tools available for us to use them for the right purpose. So sections is a good way for us to create stuff that we can use, like a depository, right? So in the section, let's do the hover state. That entails just a rectangle shape. So I'm going to ask you to draw a simple rectangle in your section that we just made. Want to get a little fancier like I did? I think we rounded the corners and that kind of stuff. Okay. You got to zoom in closer to do that. Otherwise, you won't see the rounded option available. Okay. I'll change the color from the default light gray to a more color type of attribute. So I'm going to go with a nice green here. Maybe like a bright, let me go with a nice orange. There we go. Right. So it's nice and visible. Okay. And now this is where the fun begins. In order for this to become a component, you have to make it into an actual component from the middle menu here. First one, it says edit object. Editing object is good if you do further and do some editing, but honestly, I wouldn't bother doing that a lot unless it's necessary. So I would go right here, create component, Command Option K. That's the shortcut I emphasized last week. I'm going to reiterate that now. So hit this button here, and you're going to make a component for this rectangle. A clear indication is the purple. Purple means it's a component, okay? Is everybody okay so far? Okay, no problem. Now, we're gonna have variants. A variant is how we control the second state of the component. So what happens is right now, if we click over here, it says add variant. These terms and buttons could be very confusing. I understand this, okay? Especially working with all these different programs from my past. I mean, I can give you guys the list as I mentioned earlier. But anyways, they do change terminology, buttons, functions, execution. So just be mindful of these things. Don't just click anywhere. Like variant means after a component comes the variants. So click on the variants, and then you see like a second copy. Okay. And the second one is where we're going to go ahead and change the color to something else. And maybe I'll do this one here. So there's my variant color. Now, if you want to make more variants, because there is hover, click, all that stuff, don't do this. I'm just going to show you in case you're curious. See this little plus button? You can add more and more. You understand? So you can do it simply by going through that process. You could have also done it here. Right? So once you add a variant, you have to the plus button here adds more variants because you no longer have a variant option available in case you want to add a third variant. Very rarely you have to do that, but I've seen some more advanced interactive engagements where people have to make 3 options: hover and click. Get it? So sometimes that would be an ideal choice for that. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to stick with 2. Okay. And now we're going to execute the action. Okay. Well, the interaction, I should say. So we're going to click on this one here. This, when I say this one, I mean the top one. Okay. And we're going to go to prototype because so far we've been designing everything into this design view right here. So Figma is a little different than XD. Okay. So this is why you have to be careful and kind of distinguish the two. You got to go to prototype when you do prototype, design when you do design. So this is the main area here. Once you go to prototype, you could add interaction here, right? And you could do like what's called click. I'm going to do while hovering, okay? While hovering, what's going to happen is we're going to change to, okay? And we're going to click on the other option that's available, okay? Which is variant 2. Now, to be honest with you, this is a lot easier if you did it just by dragging the little handle onto the button. So this is how you can do it using the drop-down menu system. But I much prefer you do this. See this little button? Drag it over to this one, you see? So once you drag it, the menu comes up here. Okay? So some people prefer a more direct approach. Some people prefer a more methodical side menu approach. Whatever your brain registers better or you find more comfortable, you can do either or. So let's execute the same thing while hovering. Change to property 1, variant 2, which this is variant 2, right? That's it. Now, because we're doing a very special hovering effect, you don't have to change it back because it's going to automatically do it. So to very quickly test this theory, let's zoom out. Command minus, Command plus is how I'm zooming out. We're going to draw a frame over here right now, okay? So we're going to use the frame tool, not the section tool, but the frame tool. And I'm going to draw a nice frame here to like our little playground to see how this stuff works. Once the frame is drawn, I'm going to go to my assets, and you can see how the asset is ready to implement here. And this is called, I could have picked a better name, but that's fine. Okay. So what you do then is you load the asset from there, you drag it here, and you can make multiples like option drag. Oops, sorry. When you do that, everybody be careful. Go back to design view, okay? When you start bringing things around, when you're done with the prototyping, switch back to design view and then start dragging stuff because I accidentally almost dragged like a trigger, okay? So I'm going to option drag right now and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons, okay? And I'm going to test these out because when you make one, you can make five, and then you can put text on top of the buttons. You see how clever that is? So the text will be a separate design queue. Let's do a quick present preview. Once that's done, we should get a very simple interface of our rollovers working just like that. Okay, and that's our first challenge to do a nice rollover. This is a good review for you guys. Okay. All right. So let's see how you did on that one. And those of you that are at home, how are you making out? I want to make sure everyone is following me closely. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay. I'll open up my Teams here. Okay. How's everyone doing at home? Did you guys hear me okay? Just give me a quick sign or something, okay? There we go. All right. Shaknoza is paying attention. All right. Very good. See you. How you want to drag?
Yeah.
This guy.
Oh,
Don't
on this?
say it. Never ever forget. If you do that, you're messing up this. Do the mechanics here. Now do option drag. Put that on a copy. Sure. Thank you for previews. I'd roll over. That works. Okay. But did you do hover or click? Which one did you see? Okay, but we're doing hover first. Okay. We're doing click for the next one. So let's change the states for that one. Click on the first one here, the orange one. Okay. Go back to prototype. Once again, you drag the handle over. Instead of click, let's go to hover while hovering. Perfect. That's it. So now when you go press play, it should work, right? Yeah. Excellent. Good. Okay, everyone's okay? Good. Okay, good. Now, number two, let's go. Now we're going to do a click trigger effect. So we're going to go ahead and execute that one. For that one, we're going to create little check boxes buttons. Okay, so we're going to go do that again in our section one. I mean, honestly, we can call this buttons. Okay, so we can just rename this buttons, and frame one will be testing. Okay, you should always do this when you create your products, whether it's an app or a website. Always have your testing mechanism in order. So you can go ahead and execute it on a clean playing field. Okay. So let's do another one from scratch now. Make sure you're not in prototype. Make sure you're in the design tab here. So design, we're going to go ahead and draw another rectangle quickly here, like this. A smaller one this time. I'll change the color of it. Right? And you can, this is a good demonstration because you can do multiple objects in a component. For the first one, it was very simple. One rectangle, one component. For this one, we're going to have multiple objects. So we're going to put another object in here, like a circle, which creates the switch mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and create a little elliptical shape here, draw another circle, change the color of this one. Okay. And now these two, I can select both of them and convert them into a component, okay? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and select both of these together. Command Option Shift K, or just simply go over here and create components. Don't make the mistake that I made sometimes. I make multiple components because then you're going to be really, you're like 2 steps ahead and you have to be careful why exactly you're doing that. Start with one component and then do the multiples after, okay? You also have component set, so it does get a little more advanced later. And we'll cover some of these other things another time, okay? When it comes down, just to show you how more flexible this can be. So always go with the component, okay? Always add a variant, okay? And always change the variant based on the interaction. So what's going to happen with this variant here, I'm going to double click and move this to the other side. And possibly I can change the color as well. Right? It's going to change the color and it's going to switch to the other side. So this one and that one. Are we okay? So back to prototype we go. And we say, listen, we're going to drag this one here to go to this one. So just click and drag, or you can just go and add an interaction from the right menu, whichever way you prefer to do it. We already established this is much easier. This time it will be on click. Okay. So hovering, this one's going to be on click. Change to variant 2. Okay. Which is this one here. Now this is where you have to be careful, because it's going to be like an animation. So you're going to go with smart animates. Okay. Not instant. Instant is good for instant changes. If you want it to be click like that, that's okay. But animate will just animate the effect. Okay. That's where you control the interaction after the trigger. So smart animate is what you want. Okay. And you can do ease in, ease out. You know, you can put 300 milliseconds, which is 0.3 of a second, right? Still very fast. Okay. And you can also reset scroll position, which is something I'll get into another time, which is if you do like a menu and you click on something, it'll reset to close the menu. It's pretty cool, actually. Whereas XD doesn't have that. You have to literally go and control it from other types of setups. So leave that alone for now. Okay. Yeah. What reverse?
Yeah, sliding. Yeah, if I would- yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the again now, right? So first I do this, right? Right? And then from this one, we change it back to that one. See? So this one goes back to this one, and you do on click, change to, property 1, default, smart animate, ease out 300 milliseconds. Okay? That's how you do it back. Don't worry about reset. This is for something different, okay? So that's how we do a look at the 2 arrows. Look how nicely this is demonstrated. This one toggles this one toggles to that one. See, different switches. Make sense? Well, let's see how that works. So let's go zoom out again. Let's go ahead and drag their switches here. Always remember, when you drag this, go to design, always go to design view, because I always make that mistake. I rush it sometimes, right? And you drag it from here. Never ever, and I made this mistake myself, never ever do this. Look, don't drag it from here because you just messed it right up. You see that? Some people do that, and then you can see what the problem is, right? Don't disrupt your mechanics. Leave that stuff alone. This is your depository. Some people even hide this away so you don't accidentally move stuff. You understand? Leave this alone. This is your main controls, okay? Main controls. When you want to bring stuff in, you do it from here. So this goes here. You see that? And let's make a few switches. And you can make it bigger, of course. You can. I'm going to do option drag, shift, make a few of those as well. Okay. All right. Let's do ahead. Let's do a quick test. Hit the preview button. Now we executed the hover states and we executed the switches, right? And you can do randomly, you can do like a switch game where you can randomly execute different switch positions at any given time. You control the entire outcome. So this is a trigger switch, tap, hover state, okay? Is everyone doing? Good. Here. Prototype. Right. Think maybe. Let's just do that. Did you make this separately?
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't do that because then you make it two separate ones, right? So delete this one. Delete both. Both on this one here, right? Delete it here, just add a variant. This is the one you change. So double click. And then move it over. Change the color. Okay. And then you can do the whole thing. It's gonna be instead of auto pen, smart animations. Okay. The same thing from this one. Back to that one. Smart animations. Perfect. Okay, let's zoom out. Take your time, okay, no rush. Go back to assets. You can drag assets again. Oh, there we go. Just stick with this, okay? Don't open too many things, right? But drag this one over to there. There. Okay, perfect. And make a few more if you want, or we'll use that one. Perfect. There you go. Very good. Very good. Okay. So the last one I'm going to show you is the third one, which is the slider, right? And this is the one we haven't covered yet. These we covered. I know we did this website thing, just doing a thorough review on this, make sure everybody's good. The next one's going to be the sliders. And they're going to be the one that you're going to control a drag interaction, okay? So for that one, we're going to go again, just exit the playground, okay? Right. And we're going to utilize. So do you get the flow of this now? We do everything here, right? And we apply everything to the website or the app after. And so you can do a whole bunch of stuff here. So what I'm going to show you after this is the possibility of how far you can take this. I want to show you like a real app, okay? For us to do an app, I need 16 hours straight to do a workshop, which we're not going to do. But you know the fundamentals to make it yourself, okay? You okay? Okay, so
I have a question regarding the section.
uh-huh.
So whenever I delete the first section, it will then delete screen, right?
Maybe not. Try deleting. Oh, it does. Yes, yes, yeah. You gotta don't delete the section.
Second, can I use this asset to add it over the file? Can I import it?
I think you can. If not, copy and paste. Copy and paste. Copy and paste.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
From the next day, I think I remember that whenever you select these three buttons, and there's an option that is only drag this one and then.
I know you can. You can do that
That's
unless you make a component. I like Figma with step and repeat. Command D, Command D.
like fix it.
It's not a stupid little thing there, which is nice. So that's the only difference, right? With the two softwares. You get it, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's do the last one. For the next one, and yes, just to good questions asked back there. If you delete this, obviously, everything disappears, okay? Now, will this still work? Believe it or not, it still works because it's still saved in memory. But you can't really edit the original or move them. You're still losing the sources, right? So be careful not to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
You can do editing from that also, like from the button section.
Yeah, because let's say I want to change the color, right? Let's say I want to change. So let me explain. These are very important things we're talking about. The difference is this. If you edit this one, right? If you change it to, let's say, I don't know, let's say like a lighter yellow, like a yellow stuff, right? Look what happens. They all change here. This is the master, okay? But if you go in here and you change this one, right? Let's say I go ahead and change this one to something else, right? It doesn't affect nothing except that one. So the benefit is you can make individual changes or the master changes. That's why it's good to keep this, because otherwise, if you lose it, you can't change the master. It's like a style sheet, right? Does that make sense? This is the master, and this is your copies, duplicates. Will it still work? Yes. We have this, that. Okay. 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 Let's make the sliders now. So the sliders is going to be right in here as well. We're going to go ahead and make the just a simple design of you can do a line. Let's do a line tool, right? Hold shift, draw a line all the way across. We're going to make the color of this very bright. We're going to make it thicker from over here. You can use the direction keys. We're also going to make it round from both edges. Okay. We're also going to put another object in there to create the sliding position. So for this one, we're going to use, I guess, a circle, or let's do a polygon. Let's switch it up a little bit here. And let's control the number of sides. Okay, there. We're going to give this when you make a component, it groups them automatically. Grouping is an extra measure for design. You know, like you normally group something. So you can group something for the reason of grouping without making a component. But when you make a component, it groups them automatically. It's like making symbols in Illustrator. When you create multiple objects in Illustrator and you make a symbol, it groups them automatically too. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be our last interactive thing here for this particular exercise. Actually, no, I'm going to do one more just to kind of show you the importance of this. Oh, I just drew a triangle from here, which is called a polygon tool. And what I did after this over here, I gave it, instead of 3, I gave it 6 sides. And just so, since I'm on that topic, look, if you draw a triangle, oh, it doesn't work. In XD and Illustrator, if you go up, 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 it opens the sides right away. Here, you got to do it here. 3, I put 8. Okay, it gives you different sides. Okay, so here I made another graphical type of interaction that I'm going to integrate with my components here, right? So for this one, again, these are the most common interactive things you see on your phone every day. You swipe, you click, okay? You hold, you hover, doesn't really work. It's a desktop thing, but I wanted to cover it anyways, just to distinguish all the different ones. So what I'm going to do now is select both of these and make a component. So don't worry about grouping it, right? You just go right to here, okay? Create components. So once you make a component, you'll see the purple bounding box. That means it's good to go. You can click on the little, then you click on this one here, add a variant. When you add a variant, it makes a duplicate. And this is where you make the change, okay? So here I'm gonna make, again, to make the change, right? Please remember this. Like you can't really edit this unless you double click. You have to double click and then you can edit the parts of the variant. You understand? You have to double click. It's like isolation mode in Illustrator. I'm gonna make this go all the way, okay? Now I've seen some sliders where there's like quarter, half, 3/4 full. There's 4 variations of this. I can teach you the difference. I really want to get into the mechanics of this. Let me do a simple one first, and I'll do a complicated one after. So like you can learn more advanced stuff too, okay? So this is kind of intermediate at this point. So what I'm going to do here is just move the slider to that position. I don't have to change the color. I can just leave it alone, okay? And what's going to control this to that is a sliding interaction, okay? And the way that's going to happen is you're going to click on this top variant, or let's call it the default state. Go to prototype, and you simply drag this one to change to that one. It's not going to be on click, okay? Because that's what we did earlier. So the next one, okay, it's going to be on drag, okay? So these are all the main ones we're covering. Look, there's no more. Like enter, leave, down. These are very tedious interactive things. I'll be honest with you, don't bother with these unless you're really doing something more advanced, okay? But on a lot of even the advanced stuff, this works just as good. So hover, click, drag. That's it. And what you do after is how you incorporate it with your design and your prototyping and stuff, okay? So now we're going to do drag, on drag, okay? Change to variant 2, which is this one by default, okay? 300 milliseconds, that's fine, whatever, right? And then make sure you change it back. So this one now, go back to that one. It's going to be again on drag. Okay. Change to default. Okay. So whatever you do, you counter it the same way back to the same measure to change it back to click, click, drag, drag, right? Hover, hover. And that's going to be changed to that one. Oh, I forgot one thing. Make sure it's smart animate, right? Because we want this thing to look like it's moving, right? You don't want it to like just kind of move and teleport basically, right? So smart animate from both ways. Smart animate, okay? When you're done, go back to design, zoom out, and drag it from here all the way to your artboard. And I'm gonna make this nice and big. It's gonna be a nice big slider here. Okay, maybe I'll make it smaller. It's that big. And I'll put these sliders down here. I'm gonna make 1, 2 sliders to go. Okay, and let's go ahead and see how that works. Now we have I don't like how it's moving for some reason. There's something is not right here. Is it the speed? I think so. Let me double check my prototype file here to compare the two notes. Let me just double check here, something here. Let's see what I did. What I did here was on drag, there to ease out. Okay, so it's ease out. Okay, and this one was ease out. And we did, I think, ease in and out. Let's see which one we did here. But yeah, the speed was 300 milliseconds, so it was fine. Oh, thank you, prototype. It is ease out, right? See what else I'm missing here. On drag. Let me just try it here quickly. Oh, maybe when I resized it, it did something. I gotta double check this one. Yeah, see, it's kind of sticking. Is yours sticking too or no? Oh, it is it oh, right. See that? Yeah, I selected the whole thing. Thank you for catching that. I selected the whole thing, not the little circle. See how intricate it is? We have to select the little hexagon to move, not the whole thing. But yes, that's exactly what we did wrong. Let's go ahead and fix it right now. Because you see, look, um, it makes sense, right? Because the only moving element is a circle, right? Not the whole thing, where I made the whole thing move. So that was obviously that was my mistake on that part. So here's what I had to fix the mistake. Ready, everybody? Just press delete, delete. So you're deleting the interaction. Just delete the interaction. Make sure you're in prototype. Let's do it one more time. This time we'll do it properly. So this time I'm gonna look, double click. So you only select this, okay? So double click and then make that go to the second, sorry? You can just double click. You don't have to ungroup it. You just double click, go there, on drag, change to variant 2, okay? And then deselect. If you grouped yours, you might have to ungroup it, but for me, I just double click and I change this back to this variant on drag, change to smart animate, the other one, okay? So this is the way it should look like. I can tell just by looking at it, it looks better because it's like, it's got the separate little handles. Before it was something I was indicating was wrong. It was too close knitted. Because I did it wrong, I selected the whole thing rather than the moving target. Does that make sense? All right, so let's test it now. Tell me if it works or not. So this is why this is good to do this. You can learn all the little important little details when you do this stuff. So let's go ahead and press play. Those are my little switches. And there we go. Very nice. You see that? Look, drag. It's constrained only to the line. If you go less than halfway, it goes back, right? If you go more than halfway, it goes to the other side. So it's like an auto little switch release thing that works, okay? That's how you do sliders. And I can tell you countless examples of this. Like you do like a shopping cart with shoes and stuff, carousels, they all work the same way. Sliders, you can do one image to the next image. You slide, next image, right? But there's another way to do it in a simpler way when you just go swiping without constraining the movements. So I'll show you both examples. So for me, thanks. Oh, it's fading, eh? Maybe something from the other one. Did you do it or no? Yeah. I think it's the rectangle. He said, well, this one. This one. Not the rectangle. The other rectangle. They throw that to this angle. Round this side too. Round this side. Round that side too. Maybe it's transition. Okay. Just try it again. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's just, I think it's. Did you maybe resize it from the bottom up somewhere? Or? Oh, this, you did this right. Did you group it and undo it or no? I did. Did grouping, yeah, maybe that's why it's missing. Can you just not group it and for ungroup? Right click. Yeah, because it's a symbol, you can't, it's already happening. But if you do it again, just without the line, just repeat it again, it'll work, okay? The main thing it works, that's it. It's right, that's perfect. As well. Very nice.
Well, so let me just say
What's that?
this.
Oh,
Thanks. So it was here, right?
yeah. Can you do these?
It's just,
Can you draw another one?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's done. There, three, there.
Oh, there.
I think that's because you're inside the object. When you get out, then you can control the number of sides. Now you can do like 5 or 6 films. All right, you almost have one good. I like the stars. It's good. Okay, so now that we got the main mechanics figured out, right? I want to show you now how this could be applied to more like a visual type of application when it comes to images, and because things you're going to see later that all these things will just work flawlessly with any type of example you might want to reach, okay? So what I'm going to do now is ask you to, you know what, we'll leave the buttons alone, okay? I'll do another section over here. We're going to use the rectangle tool, okay? So we're going to use the, do me a favor, use the frame tool. This is where you have to figure, you have to understand how this works, okay? We're going to create a frame outside of the frame. So it's like a separate little frame here, okay? Because then you can always drag this frame inside this frame. Do you understand? You can always move frames inside frames. But one way to keep control of it is to understand how to separate the two frames together. So it's going to be a separated frame area, okay? And you'll see why I'm doing this. Okay, I'm going to move it down here. Move this up. Okay. Here's the frame, right? I'm going to tell you again what makes Figma very unique as an application. Until I understood this principle, then I really understood Figma a little better than I knew before. And trust me, this program changes every month, every day. They do updates, they do new things. You have to always be on top of it. But what really made me understand this program, like that big eureka moment, was the frame scenario. So think of frames as in containers, and you can put frames inside frames. And to do more advanced compatibilities or interactivity with the software, you need to understand how frames can contain other frames. So a good example of that is I'm going to show you right now with this frame here. Okay, because last week was more like layout and design with the website, and we continue that with interaction. Today's going to be more interaction with frames. So this frame here will be the main purpose of us creating some kind of an image type of carousel or a gallery. This could go on a website or a mobile app, anything of your choice, okay? It's going to be done in this little frame here. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. This rectangle will be a placeholder for the time being, and later you can replace it with a real image, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle right now, like this. Maybe I'll make it like a perfect square. I'm holding shift. Okay. Oh, by the way, be in design mode, please. I accidentally stayed on prototype. Always go to design when you're doing a new design. Okay. This is gonna make it a tad lighter, darker, that's fine. Okay. Now watch this. When you click on the frame, take off clip content. See this thing here? Take it off. So this way, if you put stuff outside the artboard, you can see it. You got to turn it on and off at will. So watch this. I'm going to grab this now. Option, drag, shift. I'll go 45 pixels in, right? Like that. My favorite shortcut of all is Command D. Command D. Oh, did I? Let me try this again. Because I think I deselected it, right? So here we go. Do it right away. When you option drag, okay, like this. You know what? Let me make this a little long. I think the artboard is limiting it. That's why. Should work though. Let me see. Okay, because when you clip the artboard, it prevents you from doing it. It says, hey, there's no more space. So do me a favor, for the time being, see how finicky this program is. Make this as long as you need to. Do you understand? Make it like really long like that, okay? That's for now. And we're gonna later retract it. So we're gonna go grab this one. Same thing, option drag shift. Okay. And then do Command D, Command D, Command D. And look, oh, now it works. Look. Right? Of course. So I'm gonna go back. I don't need that many. I think 5 is good enough, right? But then purposely what I'm gonna do, and just to show you how this works, we're gonna go from layers, from assets back to layers. I want you to be able to visualize how this is all set up. So I'm gonna collapse this, collapse that. This frame and the buttons, everything is here, right? This frame, there's all the rectangles there. See? It's got 5 rectangles, number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? And this one's going to be slightly darker variation. This one's going to be even darker, just to kind of separate all the rectangles. I'm going to go ahead and make it look like that. Okay. And later, I'm going to replace those with images. You understand? It's easy to replace images and stuff if we need to. You can do this now if you like, right? But I'm going to leave it alone for now. I'm going to keep it simple, and later on I'll get visual and stuff, okay? But what I need you to do is understand that this holds all those in place. You can see it by here. You have to grasp the point of relating the relationship you have with your layers and your artboard. Because if you don't correlate the two, a lot of unexpected things may happen. So make sure when you see this, see it nests everything in that particular frame. And we're going to call this carousel. I don't know if it's spelled carousel correctly, but something like that. Carousel. Carousel. There we go. That's how you spell carousel, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't too far off. It was an older carousel. Okay. But to make a carousel properly work, you need to control the boundaries of the preview. So I'm going to grab the carousel and basically purposely move it all the way here just to show a little bit of the next thumbnail, because I want to, it's like you can see there's more to swipe. If people don't see, they won't know, right? So you have to show them a little something to see. So I'm going to do that purposely. And even then, so I'm going to go and clip the content. So you can clip and unclip. I wish Illustrator had this option, eh? Right? Remember Illustrator's artboards? Just to make a clipping mask and blah, 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 right? So this now became a full-fledged carousel that we're going to use in our website or app or anything, any product that you're making. So I'm going to go ahead and just make some room here for this. and move now get careful with this part. And let's make the background here. See it nice and easy, right? There we go. Yellow. So we can differentiate the background. I don't make it white on white, you can't see it, but you can purposely make it white so it looks like transparent, whatever your motive is. Now you gotta be, this is the careful part. To move this inside here, okay, you have to literally grab it like that. See this? Okay, so this is called testing, and this is called carousel. So some people like to do this, move it in here, okay, or some people like to go and just move it inside this way, okay? You see what happens when I do that? Look at my layers now. It's inside testing. Watch again. I'll move it out. See, it's there. I'll move it in. It goes in there. It nests itself like a tab inside a tab. Now I know for sure this will work. Furthermore, I'm going to go ahead and extend my carousel if I want, further in or outs based on my parameters. Okay. What do you mean? Yeah, this one.
Drag it outside from the testing, it will not.
If I do this,
It was dragging it out, right?
oh, I see what you're saying. So if I drag this out, it will, but then, good question. Now I have to go through this one and open that one to see that one. You understand? It gets a little confusing, but you purposely want to clip it. This is temporary. I still want to do clip, and I want to also do clip. You understand? Because if I don't do clip, you can see the whole thing. So you can see the whole thing like this. Clip. So you want to clip all the frames. But for the time being, you can unclip it to see what's there. And then when you're done, you clip it again, basically, right? So that's how you control the visibility. Make sense? So the purpose of doing this, if I press play now, what's going to happen is really not much, right? You're going to see this thing, hey, this is good. We got rollovers. We got little buttons going on here. We got sliders and stuff. But what's up with this, right? Nothing's really happening. It's in place, but we didn't really tell it how to behave from an interactive standpoint, right? So what we have to do now is basically tell it, go under prototype, and tell it to behave like it's supposed to. So we're going to say, listen, the interaction, okay? You don't have to do click or nothing like that. You can just simply, actually don't click interaction, please, because we're not doing interaction with this. We're going to do something even easier. We're going to tell it to do a scroll behavior, right? Scroll with parent, that's fine. That's by default. You can also make it sticky. That's if you do like a menu on top of a website, or you do like a mobile menu. But leave this alone. The overflow is a horizontal scroll. You see, this is where you have to change the horizontal. So the overflow will be a horizontal overflow, which should behave like a scrolling mechanism. Okay. If it's vertical, you do vertical. This one's going to be horizontal. Make sense? So once that's done, press play. And then this now, my friends, is a horizontal scrollable menu. See how easy that is, right? And you can go like swipe it on your phone, your tablets, and all that stuff. That's how easy it is. You don't have to do nothing special or extra for that. Okay. And then of course, then you can replace the nice images in there and make it look like an image gallery, basically. Right? I don't think that's even necessary because it's a very simple scrolling thing. It's not animated. This is just a horizontal enabler for it to scroll. We're telling it it's okay to scroll. That's what we're telling it to do. We're not doing animation. Like for this one, we did milliseconds and stuff. This is different. This is different. This is different. This is all different. These are all different things I'm showing you. No, you just move it. Like it's free. But what's your name again? Gurmeet? Gurmeet, I like where he's going with this. What Gurmeet is referring to is a fixed parallax scrolling. So basically, if you click, it automatically fixes itself in the center. That's another thing that we'll cover another time with a more advanced interactive carousel. This is a more simple way that works, but that way is a little more controlling and constrained. For that one, we have to make it up. I'll tell you right now. We'll have to make it a component. We'll have to make variants, 5 variants, 5 images, and link all those 5 to and move the placements in each one. And that's gonna work. Just like we did this, we have to do it with this. But I wanted to show you to do it without, because people still do this and it works. Like, I mean, you can go here, click, opens up. You understand? So why not know all these things, right? Not just show you one thing, I'll show you everything. Then you can mix and match your own methods of what you learn to what you want to do, right? That's why this all works nicely like that. Now let me finish this because we're not done yet, because now comes the fun stuff. Let's put some content in here. So watch this. You double click, okay? Double click. You go to design. You click on the fill. You go to images. You choose an image. You can now put real content in there, right? We're gonna go to the Humber folder. I'm gonna go to my folder here. Where is this? Class 10. Pics. Sure. There's my first image. Same thing. Don't double click because then it's going to give you this other striped looking menu. Just click once, double click to go in, of course. Then you go to the pictures. Let me just quickly pick some 5 images here. There's the other one. Now, how do you do the rest if I can't see them? So turn off clip the content, turn off clip the content. So I turn off clip the content for both frames, the testing frame and the container frame, right? And then I go ahead and do my replacements. So I'm going to go over here, choose another image. Which one? Over here, you mean? Yeah. I mean, you could. This one. Yes, you can do it. Yeah, you can just. So if you do this one, you can do this too. You can double click if you want to do it that way. Then you have to go to fill, image. Just go back, escape. This one here. Last one, double click, choose an image. Right, this one here. All right. So we got all the things done. All you do now, you put it back together. You click on this one, right? The main one, and you go clip content. You want to clip it so it doesn't extend. You go to the main one, you also clip that one as well. So then when you go ahead and press the play button, you do have what's called an interactive behavior like this, okay? And it's nice because you can scroll with your I don't know, with your mouse, with your trackpad. You can also click and drag and do lots of cool things with it. Okay. Again, I'm focusing today. I will really want to cover this solidly so you all can do all this interactive stuff when you're. I know you can all design your second term. You'll be working with Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, XD, Figma. You can do layouts by now, but this stuff you really have to learn how to do. That's why I'm showing you, focusing today to go over this stuff so you all understand it like the back of your head. Okay. Now let me show you one more thing, because with this now comes the follow-up. How about if I want to click on this image and it shows up in the front of everything, right? Like you know, like you see a website or an app, when you click on something, it takes over. And then you close it. Or click away. Well, I'll make it simple. I'm not making it too complicated. So I'll click on one of these. I don't have to do all of them. I'll do one just to demonstrate. And then you can do as many as you like. Sound good? Okay, so let's go ahead and do one executable, we'll call it. Let me just quickly check up on my online class to make sure we're okay there. Okay. Everybody can hear me okay? We're good on the interactive stuff there. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys tell me if you can see my screen, please? It says sharing. Okay, that's fine. I know it tells me it's sharing, but I want to make sure you can see it. All right, so let's open up one of these images now. As we click on them, so to do that part, I'm going to close down the preview. Go back to design, okay? Now this is where you have to kind of use some smart real estate on your app or website or whatever product it is you're making. I'm going to use my space over here, basically. Or maybe I can use one over here. Whatever, somewhere outside the frame so you don't interrupt your design. I'm going to go and grab that image right now. Sometimes I mess this up, so pardon me if I do kind of fault it the first time. I'll give it a go right now. Since I'm recording this, I'll try to wing it right off the bat. Because there's a few steps sometimes that get a little mixed up, but nonetheless, we'll get it fixed, no problem. I'm going to go back to class number 10 here, just get one of the pictures corresponding to that. I'll get this one, okay? Drag and drop. I'm going to position this picture, and I want to make sure it looks good from my design standpoint, so it covers the majority of the area. So it looks like one of these, basically. Okay. I mean, really, if you look at these carousels, the images can go like that, right? You can even center it, right? So it's going to be centered, right? You can make it as big as you want. It'll cover the whole thing. I'll try this for now. I don't know if it's going to work outside the frame. My suggestion to you is to keep it within the frame of the interaction, but we'll keep it outside for now to see how the result will work, okay? So once we place it and we situate it, now it's time to see if we can execute this overflow. I'm going to go over here, place it outside. We're going to unclip this content. We're going to look for this image. Okay, this is the one that's going to open up this image here. Maybe it's better if I move it up outside so it won't interrupt with anything. Here. Over here for now. Okay. So this image, I'm going to go to prototype. Let me just double check my execution. I have a file here that I practiced to make sure I don't mess it up the first time. I'm going to close this one down. I do have a quick little example here. Let me just pull it up quickly so we don't go back and forth with errors. I think it's this one. I think it's this one here. I did a little practice run on this guy. So this is how it works basically, right? Right? So what this is basically, it's called open overlay, okay? I'm just double checking my execution here. So far I'm showing you all the other things here. So it's going to be open overlay. On click, open overlay, okay? And then we're gonna go to basically that one there. It's gonna be centered. Close when clicking outside, and we're gonna add a background of a screen of 50% black. So this is pretty much, we're gonna copy these properties to execute the overlay of the image, okay? I'm gonna click on this image here. I think I have to make it a component though, guys. This has to be a component and stuff. I think I missed a few steps. So making a component, and then what to put it in here, and then it's gonna work if we did it. Okay. I'm trying to mix up too many things at once, but the frame is supposed to be a component to begin with, and then we're gonna execute this as an interactive menu. As you can see here, this is inside the component, see? So this is a component, and this here is a component, and this is the executable of the frame. Try to wing it anyways. I'd rather show you that part from that standpoint, but let me try it anyways. If it doesn't work, then that's fine too. We'll just try it this way here. So we're gonna go here. So basically this has to be a frame too. Let me do this one here if I can. Yeah, I won't link it. Let's skip this part for now, okay? We'll do it after. I promise you we'll do it properly. I don't want to mix up my back and forth here, right? But we are going to link this to, let's just leave it for now. We're going to leave it as a simple image carousel lookalike thing. For me to do this with you, next time we'll do like a component with the whole thing, okay? So it's not going to be all that way set up. Okay. So let's go back again. I'm going to go back to clip. Okay. So we're going to go back to play. Okay. And for this to work again, this I should have made this I want to keep it as simple as possible to show all these different variations. Sometimes you don't have to, you can just scroll, right? But to click this, it's gonna be a component, it's gonna open up a separate area, and then it's gonna take over the screen, okay? But the lesson was mainly to reiterate all this stuff for you. Make sure you know how to do the sliders, the carousels, the switches, the rollovers, and that's the main part, okay? So now, just to show you where I was alluding to this, so you understand how this works, I'll just give you a quick preview. So this is a component, basically, of the carousel that I did. It was Gurmeet, right? Yeah, so Gurmeet mentioned how do we control the carousel? Like I said, another lesson, I'll show you how to do this exact thing, and then we'll cover the overlay as well. So let me just quickly follow up on that so you don't mix the two up together. So if I show you this one, right? So this one, you see how it goes like this? It stops. See, it's fixed, right? It's fixed like that, right? You know what happens is when you click on this, it opens up the image like that, and it dims the rest to 50%. If you click away, it goes back to normal. You see? So that's exactly what's going to happen with the carousel images. So in order to do that, we'll have to do the proper setup and stuff. Okay. So I promise you next time we'll cover more advanced interaction when it comes to carousels. But for now, just so you learn all the basics, this works just as well. All right. So I'm going to stop this recording now. Okay. Just to kind of, let me just do one more quick thing before I stop the recording to show you where we're going next week. Because next week we'll do like an app setup and do a whole interaction thing with an app. By the way, you should get together with your group members and talk about what app are you going to develop together. Once you get the idea to set up the colors, the design, all the different materials. You should have no problem doing this in a matter of a few weeks, okay? So let me quickly do a save as here. Interactive all, I'll call it. As we covered clicks, hovers, drags, carousels, swapping images, all the main things you can possibly put on an app or a website. And then to show you some of the other design files for next week that we're going to continue is the stuff here. One is called the mobile app prototype materials. Okay, you're gonna stop going in and out, bro.
Yeah,
Like seriously, okay, that's too much now. Okay, so we're gonna go done. Yeah.
So it's more about the connections, right? Like, you have to show the connection, it's like links.
Yes. For which assignment? For that one was the website UI kit. Yes, I want to see the design for you to get comfortable in Figma, making a website prototype using the columns and some of the UI kit if you want to put in some of the elements. Yeah. Okay. Interactive stuff. Technically speaking, it is supposed to be a UI kit for a website, so you did do the right thing. But some people like to do a layout of the website with the UI kit together.
Basically, you make it what actually the.
Yeah.
Interactive one.
Materials, yeah,
But if I'm making a website, that is called a website with the UI.
with the UI kit together. That's right, correct.
So if I submit that, it will be fine.
That's fine, yeah, yeah. Because it is properly the UI kit, okay? It just, a lot of people mix it up together and they give me the website with the UI kit. Some people do both, the UI kit, and they give me how the website looks like the UI kit. Either one is good, okay? For this one, my goal is just to get you comfortable with the Figma and to deliver the website prototype. Now, this is what I'm giving you, okay? This is the stuff that's going to help you for the next project. Mobile apps prototyping kit, okay? This is what some of the kits look like for mobile apps. Components, templates, feedback, okay? Now, look at your pages, because what Figma has is pages to organize the workflow on documents. You have templates. Here's all the different templates from like a chat OS type of UI kit. Maps, events, e-commerce, chats, okay, onboarding, subscription plans. So you just have basically a UI kit of a templates, how that works. Then you have the components, okay? These are all the different components that I'm giving you. Okay, button one, button two, all the stuff we learned today, but in different, more advanced little component widgets on how this works. Okay, variants, okay, images, videos. This is just to show you an idea how professional developers use Figma to this extent. Now, am I expecting this from you? Maybe not on this level, because this is like really advanced. Don't forget, this is an introduction to UX UI design. So my goal is to teach you as much as I can, using as many tools as you can to execute prototyping. So this is like next level stuff. So if I want to show you to raise the bar on you, you can check out this stuff, because this is what these guys do to create these interactive stuff. Okay, so you can see here all the different variables. These are all the contents, okay? And then you have the styles, okay? That's what a style looks like. You got your colors, you got your text and fonts, and everything else you want to use, okay? And the styles are here. There's text styles and there's color styles. So everything is saved into Figma when you use those. So keep that in mind when you're doing your group assignment or group project, because one of you will be in charge of setting this up, like the UI kit, the wireframes, the colors, and then that can translate into the product. So again, next week, we're going to go over some of these other details to walk you through it. But for now, I want you to talk with your group members, start this project, and get this thing going, okay? One more thing I want to show you, a final product of how this app may look like. I found a coffee shop app to show you. I'll open it up in drafts. This is the cover preview. This is how you can show when you display your UX skills on, let's say, Behance community, this is like a portfolio. This is how you show your app. You can cool little design like that. There are your fonts, your assets, your images, your colors. It's a good way to present your products on a portfolio. You're doing a portfolio, this is how you can showcase your app. Okay? Say, this is what I made. And this looks like a nice presentation for your app. Now, to show you the app itself, this app particularly, it's a coffee shop app. I'm going to go to thumbnails, okay? And the thumbnails has all the different thumbnails that entails to the product. Then you have assets, okay? Then you have styles and guides, wireframes. Look at the wireframes, okay? No fonts, no images, just boxes and placements, okay? Then you have visual. This is the visual now. This is what the app looks like. And then you have about the person that did the app, basically. Okay. Let's go back to the visual. Oh, this is all locked. I'm going to unlock it. Play. This is what the app looks like. So we can go ahead and connect this app. We can go to this screen, make this scrollable, make it go to that screen, make that screen and that screen. Okay. So that's how you can see how professionals take these UI kits, materials, wireframes, color styles, everything put together, and you put the final product, okay? From beginning to end. Of course, then comes the interactive stuff we did today. It's easy to plug in your components into the app. So next week, we'll build an app, basically. We're gonna do the whole app from beginning to end like we did today, but we're gonna build an app next week. So make sure if you're listening and you missed today's class, come to next class. We're gonna build an app. And then after that, you should be good on your own to build this thing off with your group and your partners. The other class we might have after that is some more interactive, advanced elements I can introduce, and we're done. Okay, this is due pretty much in 3 weeks. So we have a few more classes left, and I hope this is gonna be enough for you to execute these things. Okay. All right, so that's enough for the recording. I'm going to stop now. I wish you all a great week ahead, and I'll see you in the next class. Okay, so bye for now, and see you next time. If you have any questions, those of you at home, let me know after I hit the stop recording button. All right, bye for now. See you next time.